Good evening, everyone. Patricia Harold, President of the Nebraska Firearm Owners Association. We are Nebraska's voice on Second Amendment issues, followed by almost 30,000 Nebraskans who strongly believe in the rights and freedoms protected by the Second Amendment. We have invited candidates running for Congress, governor, the legislature, city councils, and county sheriff to participate in our online town hall series, Meet the Candidates. Our format for this event is online and recorded and unedited. Our members have prepared questions to assess candidates running for elected office, and I'd like to introduce Julie Fredrickson. She is running for the state legislature in District 20. Welcome, Julie.
Thank you, Patricia.
We're so glad to have you. So to get started, it is an efficient meeting, an opportunity for you to share your thoughts in a succinct way. And our first question is, why did you decide to join us today?
Well, I'm a big believer in the NRA. I've been a member for years. I am a concealed handgun permit holder. I've had my permit, this is the second time, and it's 5 years, so it's been about 10 years. I grew up with guns on a farm over in Iowa, so I relish the fact that I was going to be interviewed by the NRA, believe me.
So just to make sure, I'm going ahead, and we are the Nebraska Firearm Owners Association. So we're not the NRA. We are Nebraska's grassroots, born and bred, and completely independent. So yeah, while we work with the NRA, we have a lot of things in common. We are the local branch, if you will.
That's great.
So awesome. Our members wanted to know what your favorite firearm is and how often do you shoot it?
I have a Glock 19. I love that gun. I've had it for years. It's not too tight to pull back, so I shoot it quite a bit. But I just recently got a new gun, a Smith & Wesson Easy Loader.
Oh yeah, those are a fave for many.
Yeah, I originally got a 22, and I had to go back because I couldn't get bullets for it, and ended up with a 38. So I really love it.
Wonderful.
And we wonderful quite a bit. I was just at the bullet hole. In fact, I did a segment on my campaign video of me shooting and talking about our Second Amendment rights.
Oh, well, that's cool. Awesome. So we're starting to now get into the more serious conversations. In your opinion, what is the #1 purpose of government?
Government? To protect its citizens. That's the #1 purpose. And they're failing miserably. Because of the breach on the southern border with illegal flooding across the border, bringing in drugs and bringing in crime with it, especially fentanyl. We've had a 100% increase in overdoses in Douglas County per Don Klein. He just told me that.
Wow.
So major concern for me, and being able to protect ourselves against a government in case they do overreach or if they do unconstitutional work is very important to me.
Excellent. Excellent. So as you can imagine, our members have several interests or levels of interest in different issues. So we're going to go ahead and dive in.
Okay.
Because you mentioned it in your previous answer about overreach. So what are you going to do to protect Nebraskans from federal government's attempts to restrict the Second Amendment?
Well, I'll tell you, I was the original founder and leader of the Omaha Tea Party Patriots. And in that group, I had the opportunity to meet with a lot of other groups. And I've been talking to them. We've been reaching out to the sheriffs in different counties and asking them to commit to us that they will not ever go against the Constitution to try to take our guns. That's the #1 thing that we need to do is communicate with that. I've talked to some of the local sheriff candidates. I talked to Aaron Hansen, who says he will commit to not take our guns. I talked to Greg Gonzalez. He said he would commit to not take our guns. So those issues are very important to me. The other thing is, as a senator, I can try to get some laws passed that will benefit gun owners. I don't believe in gun registries. And I do not appreciate people signing any laws into order in Congress or in our local government that say that we could have a registry. So
those are some very specific examples. So that's great. Awesome. So now let's go ahead and talk about some of the other issues. In, in Nebraska, we have many members who have expressed concerns and wanted to know where candidates stood on several of these issues. So the basis of the next questions are, what's your position on this and what will you do in support of that position? So the
Okay.
first one we're going to talk about is constitutional carry.
Absolutely. I'm a huge supporter on constitutional carry. If I were in the unicameral today, I would absolutely vote yes. I think that's one of our primary constitutional rights. It didn't say in the Constitution that we have to apply for a gun permit. It said that we can be a gun owner to protect ourselves against the government. So I'm all in on that.
Great. Recently, we had a senator in particular, I'll make him remain nameless simply because I don't like saying his name, who wanted to pass a red flag bill in our state. So what is your position on red flag laws?
Absolutely against it. We've got enough laws on the books. We don't need more laws for sure. We don't want those to become more restrictive. We don't want taxes to become cumbersome on gun owners. We don't want that either. So I would be pretty protective of our gun laws.
So talking about, having a role in the state capitol as a senator, one of the things that's interesting about our state, we're one of the few states that do not have state preemption over firearm laws. What are your thoughts on that?
I like it. I didn't get that question. We don't have state preemption.
So basically, yeah, when you think about Omaha and the registry that you were talking about, the only reason why that is in existence is because the state has not declared itself as the only legal entity to enact bills or laws that affect gun ownership rights.
I agree 100%.
And so we tried to get that passed, so then we'd end the state, we'd end the Omaha ordinances, we'd end the Lincoln ordinances, and create really equality under the law in our state. But we were able to get that passed. So
I'm less restriction, so I would absolutely vote for that.
Excellent. So some other issues that we had a bill come up recently regarding castle doctrine, which in our state, you do not have a duty to retreat in your house, but you do not have the presumption of innocence when you defend yourself in your home. And you also have a duty to retreat if you're on your porch or in your driveway or in your car. You have a duty to retreat at work if the person endangering you is a co-worker. You can stand your ground if it's a stranger. So we have some problems with castle doctrine. What are your thoughts on those things?
I would go full out stand your ground laws. I've been advocating that for years, and I would definitely vote for stand your ground laws. As far as the castle doctrine, I've always known that if they're running away from you outside, you can't shoot somebody. If they cross your threshold, they break down your door, they kick down your door, we would be prepared to shoot somebody that entered my home personally. You don't know what the intent is, and I don't want to wait and find out.
Well, and they're making their intentions clear by breaking down your door.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's illegal entry, and that's threatening in itself to me.
And that's the general consensus about castle doctrine elsewhere, just not in our state. So we got to get that fixed.
Right.
So are there any gun laws you think should be repealed?
I don't like the restriction that the government's passed on the magazine content. I don't like that. And I don't like, there's a lot of things. I would like to be able to buy a silencer, but I can't.
I know.
Because of the restrictive nature of the gun laws.
Yeah.
So
the whole idea that a suppressor makes you an assassin is pretty laughable.
Right. Exactly. No more than an automobile makes you an assassin if you're driving fast.
Correct.
So I agree 100%. I don't want to see any more restrictions on guns whatsoever.
So as president of the Nebraska Firearm Owners Association, I've been proud to lead this organization. And, obviously we advocate for legislation, but we also advocate for education. What are your thoughts on having firearm safety classes in like K through 12 public schools?
I don't think it's a bad idea. I hadn't really considered it. I
Mhm.
absolutely think there should be people in the schools, like teachers, if they wish to carry. I would advocate for that because I think that in like a school shooting situation, a lockdown situation, teachers can protect their students. I would like to see that happen so that it's legal for teachers to carry firearms in the schools. I don't think gun safety would be bad in the schools. I've had a lot of gun training, of course, because I have my permit to carry,
Mhm.
but also I've taken self-defense courses on gun training. I'm a member of USCCA. I have their insurance in case I ever have to use my gun. Um, it really is helpful. I'm a realtor. So for years, we've been
Mhm.
aware, especially women realtors
Yeah.
have been aware that there's danger. You know, when we go out to meet somebody at a vacant home,
Yeah.
and I started
Open
taking gun
houses are not
courses.
very comfortable, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I started taking gun courses, safety courses, self-defense courses, probably 15 years ago. So I was a little bit ahead of the game.
Yeah, definitely. I've done a lot of training of realtors lately, so I
Yep,
know
I
exactly
bet you
what you
have.
mean. Yeah. So, obviously being a Second Amendment supporter, how would you describe the intention and the purpose behind the Second Amendment?
The Second Amendment was designed by our forefathers and written into our Constitution that a well-armed militia or army of citizens could protect us against the government. So actually, there's a plaque in Virginia that talks about the well-armed militia, and it talks about citizen soldiers, and that's what we are. We should be able to arm ourselves. And I don't ever want to see the day when Biden, in his overreach, because he's maniacal, when he decides that we've had some emergency come up, or maybe another COVID or another a war situation where we're being threatened by a foreign entity. I could never imagine that they would ever try to come take our guns, because I think we'll have a civil war. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm not giving up any guns.
So, another perfect segue then. The last area we're going to talk about, Article 1, Section 1 of the Nebraska Constitution, which was amended by the people to really make it explicitly clear where we as Nebraskans felt with regards to our rights and freedoms to be able to defend ourselves and use firearms for really all lawful purposes. How do you think that part of the Constitution will impact your decision making as a state senator?
I'll probably have to reference that. That would come in handy. I mean, we
Mhm.
all know I was raised on a farm and we used the guns for shooting, but we all knew that they were not just for hunting. We know that. I have two ARs. My husband has one and I have one, or let's
Mhm.
just call them rifles.
Right, modern sporting rifles.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be out hunting a pheasant with that. I'm going to be protecting my home, my
Yeah,
homeland, my home, my state, and I'm going to protect others' rights to do the same. So I know about the Constitution where it applies to guns, and I intend to use those as examples or as references to solidify my position on
got
gun
it.
rights.
Wonderful. Well, that does it for our interview. I'm going to go ahead and hit stop.